Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from the Aether Bios Clinic and Aether Bios Yoga. And in our series on homeopathy, today I'd like to talk about the top 10 home remedies that you can use to help yourself. So people have different ideas about what the top 10 are, but there are some similarities. So I'll just go through a list of what the top 10 would be and their keynote of what it's about, and then I'll talk a little bit about each one. So we have, in alphabetical order, aconite for nipping colds in the bud, apis for bites and stings, arnica for accidents, shocks and physical exhaustion, arsenicum for food poisoning, belladonna for very high fevers, calendula for healing wounds, Hepar sulph for painful infected wounds, Nux vomica for hangovers, rust tox for sprains and strains, sulphur for warm-blooded people who want to be outdoors and have the windows open. So to go in a little more detail in each one, there's a story behind them. Aconite for nipping colds in the bud. It's for things that start suddenly, like a cold or a sore throat or a cough. And it's also for great shock or bad news or a fall or some extreme circumstance that shocks the body. Apis for bites and stings. This is where something is red and swollen and there may be an allergic reaction to a bite or a sting. So it's the treating like with like, so we're going to bring that swelling down. And I remember in one video I told you about having a swelling in my knee, and although I hadn't had a sting, the like with like, the apis helped bring the swelling down quite dramatically. Arnica for accidents, shock and physical exhaustion. This is a typical remedy for bruising, and everybody should have it in their first aid kit if they're working with homeopathy at all. And in Europe, the doctors recommend arnica. It's not done so often here. So it's for any trauma, injury or bruising, and shock and even emotional trauma. The person may not feel that they need any help because they may still be in shock. Apparently it's also good for jet lag. So arnica is one of the remedies that I recommend to my patients quite often. This is one of my favourite brands. Everybody has their own favourite. This one is made with lanolin, and it has beeswax in it. So if any of those things don't suit you, then it's best to research another one. I particularly like the stickiness. It feels like it helps get into the system. It doesn't seem to stain clothes, and the stickiness is only a little bit of a kind of a sticking to get in. And basically if somebody's bruised something or hurt something, I give them the arnica salve to rub in, as well as they may want to take some internally. Arsenicum for food poisoning. This is the go-to remedy for food poisoning, and the person may feel cold and anxious about how they're feeling, and they may describe the pain as a burning pain. Belladonna for very high fevers. It's for where something is red, hot and swollen. So it may be good for sunstroke, for fevers and for boils, skin conditions with boils. Calendula for healing wounds. Can be used on cold sores, mouth ulcers, cuts and burns. Can be used as a pill or as a poultice or an ointment to rub in. Hepar sulph for painful and infected wounds. Can be very good where there's pus and swelling. I've used it with my cats when they've had an abscess, and very quickly it seems to resolve it. Nux vomica for hangovers. It can be a lifesaver for a hangover or any digestive upsets or headaches from any kind of overindulgence of food or alcohol. It's going to help the liver to respond well. And generally the people will be quite irritable. Rust tox for sprains and strains. It's also said to be for rheumatic conditions. This is one that I give my patients a lot because it works on the soft tissue. It's again another ointment, so I get people to rub it into a joint or into where there's a ligament damage or a tendon. Even muscles can respond to it because there's that elastic tissue around the muscles. I remember doing yoga one morning and feeling a bit stiff, and I got my friend to rub some into my back. I was amazed how I could bend so much further, so quickly, so more comfortably. It can also be useful in rubbing into the joints to help them ease where there are cases of arthritis causing discomfort. sulphur for the warm-blooded people who would like to be outdoors and like to have the windows open. They may often have irritable skin, irritated skin that's red and looks a little unhealthy. So the sulphur is a good remedy for those people. So that is the 10. There are more. There are many more that are included in some basic kits, and there's 2 more that I particularly use in my clinic as ointments. So Ruta ointment is one that I use a lot in my clinic if somebody's got a recent sprain, and it's just going to help the body deal with that sprain. So once it's settled down a bit, then I would go to the Rustox, and I may alternate in the beginning with the arnica, because if there's a sprain there's going to be bruising. So it's just picking which remedies to use for the right condition at the right time. Another one that I use in clinic is copper ointment, and copper is a natural anti-inflammatory. So inflammation is part of the healing process. So if you've got an inflammation causing an obstruction, it's a good reason to take anti-inflammatories. If you've got an inflammation from a sprain that's not obstructing anything, it's actually part of the healing process, because it sends the signals to the brain, to other parts of the body, to bring all the chemicals that help mop up the problem, mop up the injury, and help bring the healing factors to it. So we only really want to take anti-inflammatory medication if it's needed, not as a first course unless there's big inflammation. So once things have settled down a bit, copper ointment is a good natural anti-inflammatory that you can use. And again, none of this is to replace medical advice or medical help. This is just designed to give you some tools that you can help yourself at home, add a few things to your first aid kit. I would love to inspire you to learn more. Look up on some websites, Google the different remedies, and perhaps some kits. There are many companies who do different kits. I just happen to have these few here. And then you can take remedies on holiday with you, or use them when you're pregnant and going through delivery, or have a basic home remedy kit. So lots of different companies can do these for you. So thank you for listening. I hope I've inspired you to help yourself more and learn more about how to help your health. Thank you so much. That's Lynn Bridgeford, Aether Bios. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying sharing my journey and my knowledge with you, and I hope it's a help to you with your learning and your understanding. Please subscribe, like, write in the comments below, and go across to my other channels. I have Instagram, Lynn Bridgeford. I have Facebook channels for the clinic, for the yoga, and interact with me on all the channels, and I would be happy to connect with you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much.